Welcome to the Monday edition of Litter Media Live with Aaron Glandon on camera today. I'm Dan Ramey. Thank you for joining us here. Hope you had a good Easter Sunday. Weather was fantastic yesterday.
It was nice.
Saturday, we had a downpour. I don't know what it did here in town, but it hit the Ramey Ranch, and it was sheets of rain coming down. It only rained about 10 minutes, and my rain gauge had 1.25 inches of rain in it.
Huh.
And we had little pieces of hail also bumping around. So
I wouldn't know what it did here in town. I wasn't here.
You were out of town for the weekend.
I was in Lebanon for the weekend.
Okay. All right. Did you go to the Golden Lamb?
I did not go to the Golden
You did
Lamb.
not. Okay. Just checking. That's where the in-laws are, right?
In Lebanon?
The future in-laws?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you participate in an Easter egg hunt? Did you lay some eggs for Amelia?
I did not. Amelia had some other things going on. She had one afterwards, after we had seen them just before dinner. And so, yeah, she was hyper from the candy that she got from the Easter event they had at Huntington Thursday. They had an Easter egg hunt for them Thursday.
Wow.
They were off school Friday, and Dan Jr. told me she was bouncing off the walls for 3 days.
Yeah.
Why they gave them so much? He was not happy with the amount of candy that she got. But, you know, when he was a kid, he'd have been happy with all that candy.
That's true.
And
I looked for some jelly beans yesterday, and I couldn't find jelly beans anywhere.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I'm going to have to go to Grandpa Joe's today and get some jelly beans.
I'm not a jelly bean fan, so it's never been a big thing for me.
I love jelly beans.
Yeah, well, when you get older, those things will catch up with you.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what the forecast is doing for us here at the start of the work week. We do have some light rain that we experienced already here this morning. Not a whole lot of rain. It shouldn't be much to really hamper a whole lot of anything going on today as far as outdoor baseball and softball games or track events, that sort of deal, even if you want to mow your grass. So we're looking at a little bit of rain this morning, and then we're going to have a nice couple of days here. Sunshine for Tuesday and Wednesday. Today's high, 73, and we'll be in the upper 60s for Monday, or for Tuesday, and 75 on Wednesday. So not too bad in this little bit of weather stretch, but I looked ahead for the 10-day outlook, and we may be dealing with some lesser nice days ahead. So enjoy it while we've got it, as they say. All right, coming up in a moment, news that we'll share with you. And, of course, we follow up from Friday's big rally and the reprieve announcement from the paper mills. Details all just ahead in just a moment. But first, let's tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. When you see Accurate anywhere, if you see them out on the road, if they're coming to your house to do some work, you know what kind of work they do. And they do a lot of it, and they are very reputable. Click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com. It takes you to their website where you can learn more about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of
of the week.
No purchase necessary.
Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old.
Haynes Total Healthcare Center is where you need to go if you've got chiropractic needs. If you have to have some physical therapy done, they can handle that as well. Nutritional needs, they keep an eye on that too. If you want to find out more, click on this ad on our website, littermedia.com. It will take you right to HaynesHealth.com. News, of course, we'll share with you here momentarily, but don't forget to go to our website, littermedia.com, where you can find a lot of the information we'll be sharing with you. And all of our social media information is up in the upper right-hand corner of our website, littermedia.com. Well, following a difficult few days after hearing about the closing of the Pixel Specialty Solutions here in Chillicothe, we got a bit of good news at a rally for the paper mill from U.S. Senator Bernie Moreno on Friday.
They are going to announce today that they are suspending the closure of the meeting. That suspension through the end of this year.
What was the feeling when you got the word that Bernie Moreno had arranged what's become a reprieve in some respects?
Emotional. The emotions were so high. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I had tears come out my eyes. I mean, this is the only thing I've ever known. 37 years. And to get a reprieve and to get a chance, it was huge.
Jeff Allen summing up the feeling of relief, but we also know that the announcement has only bought us some time for the governmental leaders who are going to be trying to find a solution. Now, Moreno told reporters afterwards that he and Senator John Husted have been working on a federal guardrail system to prevent things like this from happening to other communities across the country.
So that private equity bad actors, and I don't think that's HIG. I'm not going to put them in that basket. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt right now. But if there are obviously companies like Stewart Health that's creating other problems in Ohio, where we as the federal government have to create those guardrails to make sure no community ever has to go through this. Look, as much as today was a positive message of hope to the community, they had to live through a lot of pain over the last few days. It's gut-wrenching, and no community should have to go through that, certainly not to enrich private equity companies or individuals that can make grotesque amounts of money at the cost of a community.
As we mentioned, we got a bit of a reprieve, but it's not over. So we only have till the end of the year. I say we as in the community because we'll have our city leaders, also the county commissioners and county representatives and the help from the U.S. Senate, all working on this to help find a new business to go in or a new purchaser for this particular business. There's a lot of work to do with those community leaders, and I found it interesting that the senator was so willing to also say, we're going to put an office here in Chillicothe to make sure that we're on top of this until we get something done.
That to me was some of the biggest news of the day, that they're shrinking their Cleveland office and putting something here.
Yeah, to make it happen.
Is Ohio going to become the state of 4 C's instead of 3?
Quite possibly.
Very exciting.
3 C's, of course, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, but it all started with Chillicothe.
Right.
In that respect.
We want to take a moment and remember Officer Larry Cox. 20 years ago today, Officer Larry Cox made the ultimate sacrifice. Sheriff George Lavender is inviting the community along to remember Officer Larry Cox with a prayer vigil led by Pastor J. Troy Gray at noon today in front of the courthouse.
Troy has become Chillicothe's pastor, I think.
Yeah.
He participated in the event this past Friday as well and got the crowd really riled up in euphoria. Euphoria for God's blessings. But were you around?
I would have been 4 years old.
Okay. I was trying to remember what stage of life you were when Larry's life came to an end. What a day that was. I was coming into work, and usually I would watch the evening news. I didn't watch it that night, and I had no clue that this had happened. Wow. And so I'm driving on my way in. Chillicothe Police Department had announced that they would have a press conference at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is when I took the air at like 6:06.
Right.
But after the network news is over with. And so I'm on my way into town, and Mike calls me. And he was working at WKKJ at the time, and I was with WBEX. And he says the police department's having a press conference on this. If you want to be a part of it, you better hurry up and get here. So I stepped on it. I'm flying up 772, and I'm coming up Paint Street as quickly as I could to get to the radio station. And it dawned on me, wait a second, I'm going over the speed limit here. But then I thought, nobody's looking for me. They're all looking for the person who the manhunt was on. So all of everybody was. So the end point is we got there in time for the press conference. But what a difficult time it was for our community. To lose such a wonderful guy that Larry Cox was. He represented everything about what a good officer is. Not only that, but he was a DARE officer. And so many kids were impacted by his loss of life. And I recall the funeral, the viewing. You could stand in line for 3 hours and still not get all the way through.
Yeah.
And then when they had the funeral, all this took place at OUC's Shoemaker Center. It was just fantastic. And the outpouring from all across the country. And there were a number of police vehicles. I can't remember how long the parade was, but the funeral procession, it seemed like it went on forever. And so many people lined the streets just to pay their respects to Larry Cox. So thank you, Larry. And I know it's been difficult on the family to have to relive this every year, but what a tribute. This is why we remember it. That's the kind of guy he was. You know, makes it all worthwhile. All right, the Joseph Aggo, Ohio Company of the Virginia Militia portrayed colonial businessmen discussing what was going on April 18th in Boston of 1776. Over 70 citizens witnessed the event, and the two lanterns in the steeple of the Carlisle building, not the North Church, the gentleman gave the audience of over 70 people the perspective of businessmen speculating the effect on the economy if they went to war with England. And the event was the initiative, the initiative of the American Association of County Commissioners and also communities across the country, encouraged to acknowledge this date in particular, 250 years ago. To prepare us for the Declaration of our Independence. Yeah. And thank you to the ladies of the Nathaniel Massey chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution for providing these photos for us. We were unable to be there Friday evening, and we appreciate them helping us out today.
The Adena Mansion Gardens is officially open for the season. Explore the beautifully restored mansion of Thomas Worthington, remember that name. Stroll through the 3 terraced gardens and learn about early 19th century life in Ohio at the Education and Visitor Center. Whether you're a history enthusiast, educator, or just looking for a scenic day trip, Adena offers something for everyone. Hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 9:30 a.m. through 5 p.m., and Sunday, noon to 5.
What was that name to remember?
Thomas Worthington.
Okay. The people have spoken. The visitors of the Archaeology Day event voted on their favorite choice for a name for the Ross County Historical Society's mammoth. The stuffed mammoth is now called Thomas Worthington.
Very good name.
You like that?
That's something I would have never thought of.
And you went with that. Woolly mammoth. So I guess I was part right because I said, let's call him Woolly. But Woolington
sure. We'll give
is the name that's going to be used. Congratulations to David Metzger and Ken Hamilton's daughters for coming up with that name.
The Chillicothe VA Medical Center will host the 17th Annual Veterans Appreciation Night on Saturday, July 19th. This event will be held at the Chillicothe VA campus located at 17273 State Route 104, starting with a 5K run/walk at 9 a.m. and culminating with a fireworks show following the Chillicothe Paints versus Lafayette Aviators baseball game at VA Memorial Stadium.
Used to be opening day was usually the biggest crowd, but the Veterans Appreciation Night has become the largest, I think, on a regular basis now for 16 years, and looking forward to this year's event. The auditions will be held May 6th and 7th for the Chillicothe Civic Theater's fall production of The Haunting of Hill House. Auditions will be 6:30 to 9 p.m. in the basement of Calvary Lutheran Church, located at 74 West Main Street here in Chillicothe. Rehearsals begin July 28th.
Very nice. And the north side branch of the Chillicothe and Ross County Public Library is finally open again after 4 months of renovations. So go give them a visit.
Very good. On our road report for you, we see that US 50 and US 62 pedestrian safety improvements are being done. The project in the city of Hillsboro, I'm sorry, I should say it as it used to be said by Willard Parr, Hillsboro, beginning April 21st. So today, all northbound lanes of US 62 will be closed between East Walnut Street and East Main Street. Traffic will be detoured via West Walnut Street to Southwest Street to West Main Street. This is important for Chillicothe softball fans and baseball fans because they'll be going through Hillsboro today to get to that ball game. Both baseball and softball are playing in Hillsboro. Today, they'll be playing the second round games tomorrow here in Chillicothe. Just a little lead in for sports for you there, which we'll take a look at next. But first, let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. If you are in need of a dumpster, give them a call, 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.
As a basketball coach and a dad, I need to be able to keep up.
Mark came to the Adena Orthopedic and Spine Institute in severe arm pain from a degenerative disc.
I was so confident in Dr. Fleming, he explained everything.
Together, they decided on minimally invasive spinal surgery to relieve Mark's pain and get him back to what matters most. At Adena, we do what we love, so you can too.
Dixie Chopper. Speed when you need it. Visit your local Dixie Chopper dealer today or visit dixiechopper.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
Time for sports, and we begin today with Circleville senior Maddox Bigham. Now, there she is with, you might know, Dad. That's Brian Bigham. He used to be the on-field skipper for the Chillicothe Paints all those years. His daughter, Maddox, is signed a letter of intent to continue her academic and athletic career in Division I Northern Kentucky University next season. She's going to be a member of the NKU triathlon team.
Wow.
Now, I know she's been involved with fitness over the years, but this is cool. To step, I mean, you're really putting your body through stuff.
Yeah.
Maddox has been a standout athlete in track and field at Circleville for a number of years. Congratulations to Maddox. And yes, the name Maddox comes from Greg Maddox because Dad's a big Atlanta Braves fan.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. All right, on to our scoreboard from over the weekend. Saturday's high school baseball. Bloom Carroll picked up a win over Fairfield Union. A lot of non-conference games were played. Chillicothe was blanked by West Jeff. St. Trace picked up a win over Gallia Academy. Circleville, Fairfield, along with Meigs, Williamsburg, Creekwood. I don't know that I've ever heard of Creekwood. Picked up a win over Amanda Clear Creek. Wheelersburg, Chaminade Julienne, along with Portsmouth Clay, Bern Union, Millersport, Sheridan, Trimble, all picking up winners. In that Chaminade Julienne game, that was the first loss for the Ironton Tigers in baseball. Non-conference action for you in softball. Chillicothe, a big win over Heath, but then they took on the defending state champion Liberty Union and came up short 4-2. Hillsboro suffered a loss, falling to Wheelersburg 3-2. And they also fell 3-2 to Pickerington North as well. Now, Chillicothe and Hillsboro are going to be playing today. And so those are big contests that give them a chance to bounce back from those losses. Let's go back to the scoreboard for you here. Pickerington North also battling with Sims Valley. Sims Valley picks up a win there. They did the same over Woodridge. Lynchburg Clay beat St. Trace. Paint Valley took Fairfield, but then dropped the second game of the doubleheader. Miami Trace picked up a win. Jackson, a win over Greenup, Kentucky. Bloom Carroll wins 3 games.
And now they're 14-0.
Yeah, something else. And Liberty Union picked up a 16-0 win over Heath in that tri-match that they had with Chillicothe. Wellston takes 2 games, and Fairfield Union also outlasts New Lexington 16-15. The Reds bats came to life yesterday in a big way, 24-2. That's a couple of touchdowns, or 3 touchdowns and a field goal against a safety.
That's a big win.
There was a grand slam hit by Marte for the Reds against the Orioles had a position player pitching at the time. So he hits a 63-mile-an-hour pitch out over the left field wall.
Wow.
For a grand slam. It's a grand slam.
Yeah.
You got to be happy about that. But position player also finishing things out for the Reds was the Wynn kid. And he did a nice job. Gave up a home run, but outside of that, he shut him down the rest of the way. Reds will open up a set with the Marlins tonight in Miami. And now on to the Guardians. They swept the Pirates over the weekend. That helps the Reds out. A 5-4 decision there Sunday. Cleveland will host the Yankees tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers opened up their series with a win over the Miami Heat, 121-100 in that victory there. Congratulations. And we don't care about the NHL now because the Blue Jackets are done.
They're done.
All right, coming up in a moment, a look at this date in history. The Litter Media Wayback Machine is smoking because we're going back to 753 BC.
That's a long time ago. How do we know it was this date?
Because it's Mike Smith.
I guess.
He was there. Coming up, we'll have those details for you. But first,
we want to tell you about Litter Quality Propane. There's no bill when there's a fill. Contact Litter Quality Propane today about our metered gas service at litterpropane.com.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Whenever I first applied for the ArchWiz opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
Going on right now, it's the spring sales event at Hometown Motors Incorporated, 818 Eastern Avenue in Chillicothe. They have riding tractors, and this starts at $1699.99.
That's a good deal.
New zero-turn mowers starting at $3399.99. Walk-behinds, new ones, starting at $399.99. New chainsaws starting at $279.99. Also new blowers starting at $199.99. And new trimmers starting at $229.99. If you've been out trimming and you know what you need, so get to Hometown Motors Incorporated. Remember, on Mondays, they're only open until 2 o'clock, so you want to get there in the next couple of hours or so. Hurry in to get the best selection at these prices. They won't last long. Hometown Motors, your store for the outdoors. This date in history, we go back to 753 BC. Romulus and his twin brother Remus found Rome. So do we say Romulus and his brother Remus?
That's what you say.
Found Rome on the site where they were suckled by a she-wolf as orphaned infants. Actually, the Romulus and Remus myth originated sometime in 4th century BC, and the exact date of Rome's founding was set by the Roman scholar Marcus Terentius Varro. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not, but that happened way back in the 1st century BC, and I don't think I am hurting any feelings because he's not around to hear the mispronunciation.
He's long gone.
And he's probably saying, you know what, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
No worries. All right, that's it for the program today. We do have a special event tomorrow. Is that correct?
A special edition?
Yes, special edition tomorrow.
I think so, yeah.
Talking about the Pickaway County Veterans group that is there that will be in to share some details on what all they're doing. Mike made contact with them, so he'll be here for that. That'll be at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then this show back at it again at 11.
Also today, keep an eye on our YouTube channel for the 4th episode of The Markings of History, which will be going live at 4 p.m.
And what is our feature?
It's right there on the corner across from Carl's. I can't remember what the sign says.
Is this the fire?
It could be. If you want to learn more about the history of Chillicothe, tune into our YouTube channel at 4 o'clock, and we can find out together what the sign says.
Despite the fact that he was there and he filmed it.
Yes.
You're doing another filming session this week, right?
Yes, on Wednesday we are.
Okay, pay a little closer attention.
I will.
So you'll know. All right. For Mike Smith and for Aaron Glandon, Mr. Hand 2, I'm Dan Ramey. We'll see you tomorrow with another edition of Litter Media Live.